Hello. I forgot to turn my mic on when I said hello 25 seconds ago, so that's cool. Hi. Um, I have not done a solo stream uh, in more than a year, so that's wild. Hello. Um, yeah, it's been more than a year since I've been on my own. I see Lisa's here in the chat. Hi. Hello, Lily. Hi, the Wicked Bee. Irene, hi, hi, hi. Um, okay, so here's the thing. Uh, it's been a few weeks in my life that have been wild, and I have not had any kind of energy or mojo to literally do anything when it comes to YouTube. So I've been absent for a while. Um, Today, I am not in my usual place where I stream. I normally stream in my guest room upstairs, but today I am downstairs at my kitchen table. So um, if it sounds different, sorry. uh, um, yeah, so this probably won't be too long, like maybe an hour, maybe less. I don't know. I have some things to share with you guys, just like stuff I've saved from the internet, a couple of memes, some random tweets. Um, and maybe like an article or two that are short, but I don't know, evergreen topics when it comes to radical feminism and gender nonsense. So let's see here. I don't even know the order of the things I have in these slides, so I should probably look at that. Um, Let me just see here. I should have had this prepared before I started this. Hey? Anyway, Um, yeah, so honestly, also whatever anyone wants to talk about, knock your socks off. Um, I guess I'll just give a little update like on my life. I've just been busy with work. It is kicking my ass because the counterpart in my role, hello Tori, the counterpart in my role at work quit, and so we've been trying to replace him and it's not been going well. So I'm doing the work of two people, which sucks, and I'm just tired all the time. And then I was on a house sit with a cat for the last 2 weeks, and it was the pet sit of hell. I was shocked that the owner gave me a great tip because um, her cat definitely has feline diabetes, like 100% I know he does. And I very, 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 very gently mentioned it to her. I was like, in the note I left her when she came home, I was like, these are the things I've noticed. These are the things I've seen in other cats with diabetes that I take care of, blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to mention it. Like, it wouldn't be good on my conscience if I didn't mention it. Whatever. It was a really nice and like polite and gentle note. And then she texted me when she got home and she was like very snarky and was like, you shouldn't be diagnosing people's pets. People love and care for their animals. And I was like thinking like, yeah, I know, but I couldn't not say something about a medical condition that I noticed. So whatever. And then she also like, this woman lived in a jungle of plants and she left me notes on when to water them and on what days exactly. So I did exactly as she asked. And in her text to me, also, she was like, I also see my plants were very excited for me to get home. They were so dry, but I expect that you're not a plant person. And I was like, okay, lady. So, anyway, I did not expect anything good to come of that, but she ended up leaving me a $90 tip. So, wow. Okay. Whatever. I think maybe she was probably just defensive when she got home and then she had a few days to think about it and she settled down. I know. I know. So yeah, but that pet sit was the pet sit from hell. This cat like has diabetes for sure and his thirst is off the charts and he will only drink from the running tap, not his water fountains. Oh my god, nightmare. So I was like he would constantly like be in the bathroom just like screaming for me to turn the tap on. and he would not relent until I did it. So I was getting up all hours of the night. I was all day long. Like, it was just a nightmare. So I'm so glad to be home in my own house. And I booked this entire week off my calendar for pet care. So yeah, that was the last 2 weeks that have been crazy. And then I had some family stuff going on, like good stuff, just like family events and birthdays and stuff. And I'm still busy at my regular job. Like, anyway. But yeah, I'm going on vacation in October in like 15 days or something. I am going to stay with the lovely Dikery and her wife for a couple days, and I'll be there for Dikery's birthday. And then my other best friend who lives in Vancouver as well, she and I are going to go to Vancouver Island to visit my sister. So that will be exciting. And that's my last few weeks. So yeah. Hi, Mariana. Okay, so I'm just going to share a few things that I've screenshotted from the internet and we'll see where we get. I don't know. So the first one is a hilarious meme I saw. Queer Logic, what is a woman? This made me laugh when I saw it. I don't even know where I got this, but it's been in my like camera roll on my phone for almost 2 years. And it just made me laugh when I saw this because yeah, women cannot talk about their own bodies or their reproductive functioning or medical issues related to their reproductive systems without being TERFs, but the high heels is what makes a woman. Yeah. I have been somewhat, I mean, I've said this before, I've been somewhat removed from like the gender sauce lately because I just haven't been like engaging in all my usual haunts. But I don't know. Irene says I was walking behind a woman wearing shoes like that on sidewalk and she had to walk so slow. Oh, this reminds me. Yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I texted Lisa because I was out and about downtown and I saw a woman who was severely pregnant, like going to pop any day now. And she was wearing easily 4-inch heels, maybe more, but easily 4-inch heels. And I was just like, what on earth when you're that, I mean, in general, ever? No, but when you're that pregnant, like, what is going on in this world that she's walking around in 4-inch or more heels? Um, yeah, ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't get it. It was wild to see, like, even in that level of pregnancy. What? Anyway. My next little screenshot. I know, Irene, I know. It was crazy. I just wanted to like shake her and be like, "What are you doing? You're this pregnant? Good grief." Um, what's more oppressive, 4-inch heels or pregnancy? That's kind of funny because I listened to a podcast today. If anyone knows the people on YouTube, the Try Guys, um, there's ladies in there, like their girlfriends and wives and stuff, have a podcast called You Can Sit With Us. And one of the women told her pregnancy and birthing story, and it was a fucking nightmare for her. And it's just topical because, yeah, it was such a bad situation. And I'm glad that she and her kid made it out okay. Lee, oh my goodness. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Yeah, Ned from the Try Guys cheated on his wife, and the remaining Try Guys kicked him out. So that was good. Okay, let's see here. Lily says, the topic of strip clubs came up at work, and I said I wouldn't patronize one because I'm morally against their exploitation, and everyone looked at me as if I was some uptight freak. Yeah, it's baffling. Like, and the thing is how does strip clubs come up at work? Like, that is not something to be talking about at work. And yet it's so normalized in our culture, the exploitation of women, that talking about going to an establishment that profits off of the exploitation of women is just like commonplace. Like, what? Baffling. Yeah. Um, man, I thankfully have not really had a situation like that. I've been so lucky in my work life, honestly, because in my last job that I was at for 4 years, I worked with 100% female staff and it was awesome. And then in my current job, I work with majority women, but I do work with some men. However, not in person. I only have to interact with them over Teams and occasionally Zoom. And even so, that's like once or twice a month. So otherwise, it's great. Um, yeah, ridiculous. Ooh, Tori says about the Try Guys. Apparently, the same wife he cheated on is about to have a third kid with him. I haven't been keeping up on like the Try Guys snark website or Reddit or anything, but it would not surprise me if they're having like a fix it baby. Whoa, crazy. That is so sad, Lily, that even the female coworkers thought you were crazy. Ugh. Yeah. I think it's important to like you did, like say that you wouldn't be participating in something like that because it is so normalized that like I feel like people need to hear a pushback against it to even partially snap them out of it. Good God. Okay, my next screenshot I have is so funny. So I am a huge nerd and I'm really into genealogy. And I have like an account on Ancestry and 23andMe. And so I saw this on the genealogy Reddit and it is hilariously baffling. 23andMe for trans people? I convinced my friend to take a 23andMe DNA test for fun. She was born male, but now identifies as female, and her results came back with a Y DNA haplogroup and only one X chromosome. This was really problematic for her and made her feel uncomfortable. Does anyone know if 23andMe makes any accommodations for trans people? It came back with only one X chromosome. Asking if DNA makes accommodations for trans people. Oh my God. This is too funny. Yeah, it was really problematic. Newsflash, magic thinking doesn't change your DNA. Oh my gosh. This is too funny. I don't know. Literally, you cannot make this up. This is where we're at in the world. Um, DNA being transphobic yet again. Honestly, it's too much. It is too much. Yeah, so I have done a DNA test with 23andMe and Ancestry.com. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, never give your DNA to those websites. And I read the fine print like pretty extensively, and you can opt out of like having your DNA saved and whatever. Anyway, I have found mine so interesting to look into. And it's really interesting when like they'll come back with things like, oh, your DNA suggests you're more likely to be an early riser or you're less likely to enjoy chocolate or whatever. And I have found like all of the results it gives me are like so accurate. It's baffling. Who knew that like your DNA can tell you like one was like your DNA suggests you're more likely to prefer vanilla ice cream over chocolate ice cream. And that's true, I do. And then another one was like, you are more likely to dislike cilantro than the average person. And that's true. It's just so interesting to me how the DNA stuff can reveal that. But I did feel justified too because I do hate cilantro and it does taste like soap to me, and that it is like a genetic thing is so interesting. Um, and as well, the thing I felt so justified in is I have always like I have misophonia and my results came back saying like I have the genetic marker for it. So I was like, yay, justification. Tori, yeah, I have a lot of mixed heritage as well. And most like my family history is recent in Canada. I mean, everyone's is. We're a very young country. But like anything beyond my great grandparents were all born in other countries. So it was really interesting to find more information out that I never knew before. And then I was also able to connect with like some distant relatives, which was exciting. That's cool. But yeah, no, this just made me die laughing that they were looking for accommodations for trans identified people because it was problematic to have their DNA reveal the truth of their genetics. Oh my God. Like, oh my God. Too funny. Let's see here. Maybe 23andMe could label the DNA groups X and MUX. Too good. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, next is it's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. So this I saw on Twitter yesterday. Um, I don't know what else to do to not be misgendered. I've tried so hard. Nails, jewelry, hairbands, purse, hair, and I still get called sir. Any ideas? This just made me laugh because again, like it's the nails and the jewelry and the purse that make the woman, right? Not the DNA. Which the responding person here said, yeah, woman ingredients, nails, jewelry, hairbands, purse, hair, combine ingredients and hope for the best. Not getting sirred, not guaranteed. Lisa says, sir is correct gendering, not misgendering. It's almost like women does not equal nails, jewelry, purse, hair. Yeah, almost, hey? And the thing is like when trans identified people do this stuff, like they tell on themselves, right? Like that they just think that being a woman is dresses and nails and makeup and hair and high heels and whatever. Um, and it drives me nuts that like people don't call this out. Like you've put your woman costume on, so now everyone should know that you're a woman. What? Mariana said they're telling on themselves and showing their misogyny. Honestly, I just don't get it. And again, it is so misogynistic and it doesn't go the other direction, right? Like you don't have trans identified females being like, "Oh, I put my backwards hat on and I don't fucking know what a men wear or do. I don't know, whatever." It just doesn't go in the other direction, right? Because it's only the men who have a fetish for quote unquote dressing as a woman who pull this shit. Trans identified females typically seem to want to just like integrate as best they possibly can and like not even mention their gender, but it's the men who do this stuff. Axe spray, right? Okay, yes, that is part of the man wardrobe. Or, I mean, there are women, of course, who do this stuff, and that's mostly, I think, the like non-binary, gender fluid ones, not really the trans-identified females, but uh, it is all ridiculous. It is all ridiculous. Lisa is a climber femme. Look at her. Trans-identified women dress the way normal, non-hyperfeminized women dress. Oh, this reminds me. This is not really too related, but I have to share two things from work. So the first one is I told Lisa this earlier, but so I'm a social worker with adults, and when I have clients who are recently released from federal prison, I Google them to see what I'm getting up against. When it's just like provincial jail, I'm like, whatever. Those are like, I don't know, petty theft or drug dealing or whatever. Not a big deal. I mean, in the grand scheme of things. But when they've been released from federal prison, I just want to know, like, what were they in for? And what am I facing here? And today I had a guy who, after he left, I Googled his name and I learned some things that I really didn't want to know about his crimes. It was without being explicit, it was CSAM related. And I wish I didn't know that. But that's what I have to deal with sometimes at work. And then it's like hard to stomach having to help these people. I have had clientele that are like, that have killed people. And for like, I can tolerate that. I don't know why, but I can tolerate that. Sorry if you hear the humming in the background. It's my fridge, but I'm not upstairs like I usually am. So whatever. Yeah, I can tolerate people who have killed people. But when it comes to SA and CSAM, I'm just like, I cannot believe I have to do this. And I do, and I have to pretend like I don't know. So that's great. I'm just not going to get into like any much more detail because it's pretty effed up, but that was that. Yeah, I don't have any female clients who have killed somebody. But I have a few men, a few. Good times. But okay, so then the next situation I had at work today was I had a new client come in who is 18, like barely 18, an extremely effeminate, obviously gay male who is transitioning but has not done any, like no transition at all, no hormones, no nothing, but is going by a female name. And like at work, I'm not going to just be like, I'm not going to call my client like he or sir when I'm at work, helping a vulnerable person. But it is interesting to me in that like my 5 years that I have been in this role, I have only encountered 3 trans-identified males, which was a pretty good ratio. Only 3 in 5 years. And all were young, like teenagers, like 18, 19. And one is, the one from today is an effeminate gay male. And the other 2 were just like, they're obviously fetishists, which is so, as young as they are, they're only like 18 years old, but gross. Anyway, so I encountered that at work today. Tori says, during my sister's residency, she had to stitch up a man's hand who murdered his girlfriend. The wounds in question were from her fighting back. Yeah, that is so, yeah, it's tough. Like most of the time in the kind of work I do, I don't really know people's background and I don't need to. But when it comes to people released from federal prison, I want to know what I'm up against because I might be alone with this person. So like, I just want to know if I, and in, this kind of situation, this is the person I would not be alone with, but I just want to know. So, and then, yeah, I often find out things I don't want to know, but, yeah, the people who have to help or protect the rights of disgusting people like that are better people than me. I don't particularly enjoy that part of it, but thankfully I don't encounter this kind of a situation very often. Most of the people I see are just like vulnerable people living at-risk lifestyles. So, whatever. Yeah, that was just 2 situations I had recently. I could share like a positive story. Like I once had a guy who, maybe this was like 4 years ago, he had been released from prison where he was serving time for being involved in a drug deal gone bad where somebody did lose their life. But he served his time and, whatever. It's whatever. But I saw him, I helped him with what he needed at the time. And then I saw him about a year later again, and he had been doing really well. He had been sober for, over a year. He had been employed for over a year. And he was doing like peer support work to connect and relate with people who are at risk as well. So that was really good. And then I ran into him again, like another year later, and found out that he had still been sober, still been employed, still doing really well, and had just purchased a house. So, there are situations and when the outcome is positive, I think rehabilitation and redemption can be possible for some individuals. So, it is nice to have those kinds of stories to reflect on as well as the crazy, awful stuff that I deal with at work. But yeah, takes all kinds. Honestly, I could talk for days about the kind of stuff that goes down in my job, but I will not because I have other things to do. Yeah, affording a house in 2023 is no easy feat. This was 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020. But seriously, it's not easy. I am a homeowner and it's not easy. It was fine when I bought my house in 2020, but now that it's 2023 and everything is awful, it's not easy. Expired milk. I am a social worker. I work with adults who are vulnerable and at risk or living high risk lifestyles. Primarily, most of my clientele are street entrenched, IV drug users, prostituted women, that sort of thing. But I don't care to go into much more detail, just that. Thank you, Lily. That is very nice of you. I've been working in addiction and mental health for a good 10 years now. And my work has always been in the people experiencing homelessness, street lifestyle, that kind of realm. And I love it. It's sad and it sucks for a lot of the people, the things that they're dealing with, but I do get a lot of really great stories and people turning their lives around and having great successes. And I'm just happy to be able to meet people where they're at and work through whatever it is they're going through and get them where they need to be. And yeah, it's great. I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. I've been doing this for 10 years and there's a high turnaround and burnout rate in this field, but I personally have not really ever encountered that myself. I love my work. I never ever wake up in the morning being like, ugh, I have to go to work today. I am excited to go every day. And when we have a holiday Monday or something for Thanksgiving or something, I'm always like, ugh, I have to have 3 days off this week because I just love my work. So I'm really happy to be there and I can't see myself doing anything else other than this field. And it's been 10 years, so I think I'll be good for another, well, let's see, I'll retire in 20 years. So we'll see. Yeah, it is good. You have to find something that you really love to do. And then what's that saying? And then you'll never work a day in your life or whatever. But yeah, I just enjoy it so much. It's the best. And I love all my people. And I love to see my clients go from near overdosing on the street to I have a client now who has been sober for multiple years and is back in school. Yeah, I just get to see every single rung on the ladder of it all. It's awesome. Thanks, Lisa. That's great. It's fun. Yeah. Okay, enough about me. Let's go back to screenshots. Okay, so I saw this one on Twitter yesterday, and it inspired me to bug Lisa about a video that she has privated because I wanted to watch it again. I saw this on Twitter. Transsexuality is backed up by science, and that is a fact in our world from this person. As we all know, the quote-unquote science on this is not great. And so the fact that they say it's backed up by science, maybe. But this reply really sealed the deal for me. She said, in the same way that this Nobel Prize winning procedure was backed by science. I wanted to watch Lisa's video about how trans is the new lobotomy. But yeah, when they say like, oh, it's backed by science, it's like, okay, yeah, so was lobotomies that won a Nobel Prize. That doesn't mean anything. We look back at lobotomies with horror, as we should, for what it did to mostly women. Um, and I think, yeah, we're getting closer and closer every day to looking back in horror and what we're doing to young people with the gender sauce. Um, this is great from Irene. I thought they considered transsexual offensive. Yeah, I thought so too. I almost, I honestly don't really think I ever hear the word transsexual anymore. Uh, you're right, because they consider it offensive, of course. But that is interesting that I don't they consider it offensive. Tori says, I find that the science slash brain sex argument is why so many normies support this ideology. A lot of people think it's innate and scientifically proven. Right. And like the studies that have been done on this are like so like tiny sample sizes, cherry picked to hell and back. Um and but people hear like, oh, the science says, so they say trust the science. And then you know, on the one hand though, it's frustrating too because like you have the uh for example, like the COVID deniers who don't believe science in that regard, but they're totally fine with giving Lupron to 11-year-olds. Like, what the hell? No vaccines for COVID for children, but Lupron is just fine. Let's see here. Milika. Hi, Milika. Science is never neutral. It is always influenced by the dominant ideology. Interesting. Mariana says brain sex is misogynistic, extremely so. Abby says, in a similar vein, the Canadian and American Anthropological Association just canceled their panel on why biological sex still matters in anthropology because it was violent or something. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is like, I've said this before on streams and stuff, like in a snarky way, that it gives me such great satisfaction to know that anthropologists 1,000 years from now will dig up my body and know that my bones were female. Like, and an identified person who screams that they're a woman because they have a penis, like that same anthropologist is going to dig up their bones and know automatically that it was a male. Like, it's just satisfying. I'm sorry. Snarky, but satisfying. Yeah. Um, I have been in a kind of a wormhole lately of being obsessed with the ancient past. I've always loved history, but I I found this podcast. I think it's called The Fall of Civilizations, I think. Hold on. Yeah, Fall of Civilizations podcast. And each episode is just a few hours of history of like fallen societies, like the Aztecs or uh, the Inca, obviously, um, the Sumerians, et cetera, et cetera. And I am so obsessed with ancient history, and I just like wish like I always ask people like if time travel was real, like where would you go? And like I would want to see these things. And a good friend of mine, I asked her this question the other day, and she said she would like to go and see who carved the Venus statue. What is it? The Venus of Wolfendorf or something? Let's Google this. If I can get Google to work, that would be good. Hey, Venus of Willendorf. And I just, yeah, I would so love to know like who carved that statue, the Venus of Willendorf, and like why did they carve it? What were they thinking? Um, or who painted the handprints on the caves in France? And like what did they talk about at that time? It's just so interesting to me. Um, and it also is so interesting to me because you think about like humans 30,000 years ago, they had all the same exact brain capacity that we do, right? Um, And so I wonder, like, what, like a woman 30,000 years ago, like, what was her hopes and dreams for her life? Or, like, what did she think about? Or what, um, what did they gossip about? Like, it's interesting to think that we've had this same brain capacity as people 30,000 years ago, but they were so what we would consider to be like primeval. So interesting. Um, I can't remember what they're called, but it's a set of preserved footprints where they've been able to tell that it's likely a grown man and woman's footprints and a child. And then eventually the footsteps become only the two adults. So the conclusion is probably that someone picked up the child as they were walking. And I just like where were they going? And how come those footsteps lasted or they've been preserved for like 120,000 years? Um, yeah, it's so interesting to think about. I wish I could time travel to see all of these things. Or, yeah, I'm really into that kind of stuff. Um, this is a good time to mention like my favorite book ever. Uh, it was Jesus. Lisa, get out of here. My favorite book ever is called uh, Who Cooked the Last Supper by Rosalind Miles. I recommend it as required reading for any feminist because it's about women's history and the forgotten and lost and erased stories of women. Um, and I just think the title is so brilliant. Who Cooked the Last Supper? Like, everyone knows the story of the Last Supper and Jesus and the disciples, but like a woman made that meal for them. Like, who was she? What was her life? Um, yeah, I think everyone should read that book. It is so interesting. I'm going to just put it in the chat. Who Cooked the Last Supper by Rosalind Miles. Required reading, in my opinion. I also have another book. Hold on. I'm going to grab it from my bookshelf. Where is it? There's another one that I got along the same veins, but I haven't started reading it yet. And it's called When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. The tagline is the landmark exploration of the ancient worship of the great goddess and the eventual suppression of women's rights, rights, rights. So I'm going to read this one probably next, but I just love learning about like the history of our species and especially women, obviously. But I am currently reading Pornography by Andrea Dworkin. So once I finish that, I will read this next one. All right. Let's see here. This has been the most random stream. Okay, next one here. A rant about inner misogyny. This was on Over It. And the OP wrote, I decided to read comments under a reel of a mother of 6 kids. In the video, she seemed to be a proud mother, but I bet it's really hard work. Anyway, I was really taken aback by the comment of one woman. The commenter says she has 2 boys and now decided that's enough. Because guess what? She was worried that the 3rd child might be a girl and she might take after her not very beautiful mother-in-law. Like, seriously? I understand not wanting to have one more child because parenthood is exhausting, but not wanting to have a child because she might look ugly? What is wrong with society? Isn't that horrifying? Like, if you're here, you know that I am like an antinatalist and I don't think we should be having children anymore. But this kind of reasoning is just so lost in the sauce and so sad. It's so messed up. And yeah, girls are valued only for their looks, and choosing not to have a child because she might not be pretty is like, I just don't even have words. Boy moms are terrifying. Yeah. No offense to any boy moms out there. I say all offense to the boy moms out there. Pretty terrible sometimes. Lily says, the idea that women need beauty to have value is horrifying. I agree. And that is a large reason why I refuse to engage in beauty or perform beauty or femininity, because I am a good person. I have value. I am smart. I am capable. I am good at my job. I'm compassionate. I'm empathetic. I'm strong. And those are all qualities that don't require anything to do with how I look. And they're much more important than how I look. So I just can't engage in beauty or femininity for that reason, because I want to demonstrate and be a representation of a woman who has wonderful qualities, if I do say so myself, without engaging in performative beauty and the pain and anguish that comes with it. Irene says, mothers sometimes torture their daughters with beauty rituals when they're not pretty enough. Yeah, I like a personal story. Like, my mother didn't torture me, but as a child, my mom loved. I had seriously long, dark hair, long, straight, dark hair to my waist. And my mom loved to put my hair in ringlets as a child. Um, I don't know if any of your moms did this, where they would like wrap them up in strips of cloth and then you tie them at a knot, and then we take them out in the morning, it's all curly. So my mom would do that to me, and I would fight her so much, like to the point that I would like be making myself like vomit from how hard I was crying and fighting her, because I hated it. But she still insisted that like I do it, you know? And it's just like my mom is not a torturous evil person, right? But like she was just a woman in the 80s who, this is what you do to your little girls. And it's just, yeah, this comment just kind of is so true, that women will torture their daughters with beauty rituals. And it's really awful. Yeah, curling rods, curling rollers. Hi, sorry, I'm new here. Can I comment about something off topic for a second? You can. Anyone can comment, provided they behave. Yeah, thanks, Irene. I mean, I'm okay with it. Like now, whatever. And actually, my mom and I have had conversations about this kind of thing. Like, I was not allowed to cut my hair as a child, hence why my hair was to or past my waist. Um, Thankfully, they let up about forcing me to wear like dresses and skirts. But anyway, since being an adult, I've had conversations with my mother about this kind of stuff, and she is like remorseful and says that she feels bad that she forced me to be girly or whatever, because I was just not. Um, I was a tomboy. I was into sports. I obviously grew up to be a lesbian. So yeah, no, it's fine. I'm over it, and I've had good conversations with my mom about it. Also, interestingly, um, I'm also an atheist, and I've had a lot of conversations with my parents about that, because they used to be Catholics. They've left the church since I came out, pretty much, because they support me, which I am very blessed and grateful. My parents chose me over their religion, but they are still believers in God, and they're quite faithful and whatever. Um, but my mom has also said she regrets baptizing me, because she now feels like it should have been my choice. So that was nice of her, I guess. But I have been supremely lucky, because I came out 2 weeks after I turned 15, and that was 20 years ago, which is crazy to say. And my parents, I was scared to come out because of my parents' religion. I thought for sure I'd be kicked out, it turned out to be very anticlimactic when I came out. My parents essentially were like, "Oh, that's it? Like, we thought you were like pregnant or on drugs or something." And yeah, they chose me over their religion, and their they had questions and stuff, but they were fairly supportive right in the early days. And now it's a complete and utter non-issue that I am a lesbian. My parents are extremely supportive and defensive of me and other gay people, which is very nice. My mom has not one, but two pride flags in her vehicle. One hangs off of her rearview mirror, and the other one is just like on the dashboard. She's so funny. She always wants to go to Pride every year, and I don't, because it's just not my scene anymore. But I always go to Pride with my mother because she wants to go. So I know I'm seriously super lucky in that regard. Yeah. Yes. Supportive, accepting, loving parents is the single most important thing in the trajectory of a child's life. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super lucky. She's very sweet. She is. I'm very lucky. Yeah, I'm super lucky, and I know it. So I know others aren't as lucky as I was. Yeah, and they accept me for being a lesbian and an atheist, and they desperately want to be grandparents, but they know that I will never be doing that. So they have backed off on that. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Let's see. So GGVBGF says, I think I might agree with gender critical beliefs. I just don't know a lot about it, and I feel like gender nonconforming and gay people are being harmed by the recent trans stuff. Well, you're in the right place because everyone here agrees with you. Yeah, gay people and gender nonconforming people are definitely harmed by the gender sauce. I have a couple hundred videos about this stuff. So does Lisa, who's here somewhere, Lisa Michelle. Lily says the trans stuff has taken away so much from me as a lesbian. It's really unfortunate because, like, especially when it comes to children, and being put on puberty blockers, or there's Lisa right there, or hormones, because as we know, a lot of the time these are just gender nonconforming children, or they are gay children who would just grow up to be normal, healthy gay adults, but they're not getting that chance because they are being medicalized and transitioned with hormones and in some cases surgery before they get the opportunity to become self-actualized adults, which is supremely effed up. I saw a thing, I think it may have been on Twitter or something the other day about, I think it was on Twitter. It was a detransitioned woman who, when she was 16 or 17, she had a double mastectomy and her breasts were removed because of her trans identity. And then around the same time, when she was 16 or 17, she had another illness going on in her life. And she wanted, I can't remember what it was exactly. I'm so sorry, but she wanted whatever medical procedure the doctor had recommended or something. And her parents did not. And because she was a minor at the time, her parents had the final say. So it's like she couldn't consent as a minor to have a medical procedure that for a true medical need because she was a minor, but it was totally fine as a minor to have her breasts removed. Like, just baffling. Yeah. Abby says, if it helps, know that the majority of humans know that trans stuff is BS. They're just not the ones screeching it online. Very true. Hex says there have been studies proving gender dysphoric kids usually grow up to be gay adults and the dysphoria goes away. Right. I think what's that study? It says something like 80% of children who report feelings of gender dysphoria, 80% of them lose the feelings of gender dysphoria as they get older. Ugh. Lisa says this is an important thing to me for sure. It's okay to be a liberal or a leftist or a progressive and question the trans stuff. It doesn't make you a conservative. Yeah, Lisa and I have talked endlessly about being leftists, being progressives, having very left wing, like extremely left wing political beliefs. But because we don't believe in the gender stuff, we get labeled conservative, which is strange. But no, I am definitely a leftist, a liberal. Lisa says everyone here is a liberal, honestly. Yeah. Lovely to see support for Gigi in the chat. Can definitely understand where you are right now. I was in that place exactly a year ago. You're in the right place. Yeah, glad that you're here. An enlightened female. What a fitting name. All right. I think I have a couple more things to share, maybe just two more. Yes. Also, we want everyone to live their happy, best selves and wish no one ill will. We just want to protect women's hard-won rights, sports, bathrooms, etc. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I endlessly say I believe in the right of trans-identified people to have access to medical and mental health care, to safe housing, to employment, to education, to a life free of violence and harassment, to live in the ways that make them comfortable. I just don't literally believe that you can change sex. And so all of the previous stuff I said that I believe is worth nothing because I don't believe that a magic incantation will change a man into a woman, which is baffling to me. Even like as a liberal leftist, I think even though I don't agree with the transition process, I think adults should be able to have the right to do so because in a liberal society, adults should have those choices. I don't agree with it, but I think adults should have the right to choose that kind of thing. So, yeah. Trans-identified people perpetuate misogyny by definition. In a society with no gender roles, there would be no transgenderism. Completely agree. Gigi says, I thought I was trans, but I think it was just online stuff and people around me. I think I just want to be gender nonconforming. I'm a gay guy. Don't apologize for commenting. We're all among pals here, as Lee said. Yeah, be gender nonconforming. And one thing that I think is so important is the existence of gender nonconforming people who are not falling down the trans rabbit hole. Having that representation in the world of a gender nonconforming man or woman, adult, is important because you can be who you want to be, you can present how you want to present, and still be the man that you are. That's just fine. I think the gender stuff claims to want to remove the boxes, that we're all crammed into. But in my opinion, they're not doing that. They're just creating different boxes to get into. So what is truly label smashing or box smashing, I don't know what you want to call it, is being your true self exactly as you are. I think that is most important. Dysphoria is a sign of sick society, not a sick person. What a great, great point. Hello, Gravity. Mariana says, identifying as non-binary implies everyone else is binary, thus creating another binary. Important. Yes. If you're looking for gender-critical gay men who support radical feminism, Mr. Minot and Kai Decadence are good. They don't pander to conservatives. Yeah, Kai is occasionally in my comments. He has always been incredibly nice to me, and I think I can say the same for Lisa. Yeah, Hazel says, you being a gender nonconforming man shows younger guys that that's an option. Heck yeah. Okay. Okay, I have 2 more things to show. I know, I haven't seen well, actually, I think Kai was in my comments maybe a couple days ago, but haven't seen him lately. But yeah, he's always nice and respectful and thoughtful, in my opinion. And Mr. Minot is very funny, and he does great music, so yeah. Okay. This is, I think, a great thing to follow up this conversation with. I've come to the conclusion that using different pronouns for someone suffering under the delusions of gender ideology is like offering a drink to an alcoholic. It might make them feel good, it might be the social norm, but it enables them to destroy themselves and everyone around them. Alcoholics deserve compassion. Enabling them hurts them. The same is for someone who believes they are born in the wrong body. I think that is such a great comment. Lying to people is not kind. Pretending or indulging in someone's delusions is not kind. Like, they need obviously help and support and treatment, but these lies in the long run are going to hurt them and a lot of people. And facts. Yes, this connects to the larger idea of nice versus kind. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I've been lucky to not really encounter much in real life when it comes to like gender stuff. So I don't really often have to have that debate of like, am I going to be nice or am I going to be kind? Yeah, definitely agree. As someone who's been around by both TRAs and alcoholics at different points in my life. Right. Like we talked about earlier, like my entire career is working with people who experience addiction and severe addiction, intravenous drug use primarily. And you can be nice, but you have to be real with people who are engaging in self destruction. You can be kind and nice to them and supportive, but you have to support them in a way that is going to lead to healing and recovery and stabilization. So, yes, I think that is very true, enlightened female. Very true. Oh, my goodness, I'm yawning. It's almost time to be done. I think I have one more thing I saw online that I wanted to share that I think is really, really funny. And maybe, yeah, we can end on a funny high note. I saw this ad for clothing, like it's like all the different the different pride flags, themed clothing. And I saw this one that made me die. Non-binary pride flag women's t-shirt and non-binary pride flag men's t-shirt. Oh man. This is just the icing on the cake of the gender sauce, isn't it? It made me laugh so hard when I saw this. Um, I know, legit chuckle. Seriously, I died when I saw this because it is so silly. Hmm. Yeah. Capitalism persists. Too good. Even the shirts have a binary, right? Men's clothing and women's clothing. Oh my goodness. Too funny. Um, I thought today I might share a couple of short articles I found online, but I think I am not going to, and I'm going to save that for a different day. Um, that shirt is a walking red flag. Big time. Big time. Yeah, I had a couple short-ish articles that I thought I'd share, but I think I'll do that on a different stream because I need content. So I'm gonna hold out tonight for future me. But yeah, I hope life is gonna get a little less nuts for me soon, I hope, because we're hiring at work and that should take the load off of me and I'll be less tired when I get home. So I hope to stream again probably next week. I'm gonna try, well, yeah, probably next week, I guess. I'll probably invite Rusty on again because she's always a riot. And then when I'm on vacation, I will be in real life with Dikery. So maybe I will bully her into doing an IRL live stream with me. And actually, I will definitely bully her into it because she has great stuff to talk about with the Vancouver Lesbian Collective and something that happened with them the other day that is very exciting, but I won't spill the beans. I'll let her do that. Thanks, Lisa. Please stream more. Well, I'll try to bully Lisa into it maybe sometime also. No, I'm just joking, but thanks, Lily. Rusty makes me ugly laugh also all the time. You know, it is, yes, we need a Rusty pick me up. She is that funny always. Like sometimes she will text me things and I just die laughing because she is so funny. And she always has a crazy story to share about things in her life. And I just think we should have like Rusty's comedy hour where she just talks about all kinds of funny stuff. Yeah, I understand. And I love and respect you. We do need a Rusty in our life. She's the best. So yes, I will bully her. And yeah, okay. So this is an hour. I said I'd probably do about an hour this evening. I don't know how much longer I can sustain being the only person here talking, I mean. So thanks for coming to my little casual like comeback stream. Thanks for being so nice, everybody here. It's really nice that even though I was MIA for a couple weeks, people still came back. So that makes me feel nice. Thank you. Yeah, today's Wednesday. We're halfway to the weekend. I'm probably gonna go and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably clean my kitchen because that's what I do after every stream. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lisa, Enlightened Female, The Wicked, Tori, Irene, everybody. It's so nice, yeah, to see all those returning names and icons I know and love. So, have a great evening, and I will hopefully be back soon. Okay, bye. Bye, bye, bye.